long overdue. Long overdue. If you really been rocking with me, you know I was supposed to post this video from July. Now let me make a disclaimer right quick. I'm from the Bahamas. I'm a Bahamian woman. So I'm gonna be in and out of my accents. I live in Florida, but I was raised in the Bahamas. I mean, I could code switch a little bit, but I hope everyone can understand me. But as you can tell by the title of the video, let's get into it, right? All right, let's get into it. So I'm gonna start off by saying I am not trying to convince you to choose Jesus. I hope you do, because he's a cool guy. But I'm just sharing my testimony, you know? And I got some water handy. So we're gonna be staying hydrated during this video. Let me take a quick sip, hold on. So first things first. So I grew up in a church pretty much. My grandparents are deacons, and if you are from Abaco, you know my grandparents. Like my grandfather preaches sometimes, and my grandmother, she's a praise and worship leader for as long as I could remember. My dad is Christian. He's not religious, but he's Christian. My mom is as well. And those are my first instances of learning who God is and what he requires or what his presence feels like. And what I do commend my mom for, she never forced her religion on me. Of course, you're gonna teach your child what you subscribe to, but she didn't force me to ingest it, and I give her credit. So big up to you, Big Bank niece. If y'all know me, y'all know me. Like Big Bank, y'all know Big Bank. But yeah, I grew up in the church. I used to sing on the choir. I was involved in the dance ministry. I was involved in just different facets of the church as long as I can remember from when I was a little girl. I've always been involved in the church. So I came up to my teenage years, and I had a different understanding of who God was, which is I didn't understand it. But I took what I understood and I created my own conclusion from it, right? I claimed that I was atheist at that point because I didn't understand to say, it just didn't make sense to me. And I still have my own unbeliefs, which I don't even ponder on. But when I turned about 15, 16, I told myself, I was like, bro, this ain't making no sense. And then I looked at my own personal circumstances, and I was like, if you serve this God in the sky who listens to your prayers and who is there for you and supposed to provide your every need, why are we poor? Why am I going to school with a hole in my shoe? Why the cupboard empty? Why our situation ain't working out? What's going on? At that point, you giving your money to this church every week, and we still don't have. So I concluded that maybe your God ain't listening to you, or he just don't exist. I just concluded that, and I just left it right there. So she used to come to me and say, oh, well, God approves of this and God approves of this, and you gotta do this for Jesus. And I'm like, and I told her, I don't want nothing to do with your Jesus. You can keep that over there. I used to tell her straight to her face, I'm not interested in your Jesus. And she would literally encourage me to study other religions, which is so bizarre. And it sounds crazy, but this devoted Christian woman, she said, Jhannah, if that's what you want to do, I support you. I love this woman to death. I support whatever you decide to do, because I studied Judaism, I studied Buddhism, I studied oceanology, I was atheist at one point, I was agnostic at one point, I was just trying to find truth. I was trying to find what made sense to me. So I want to make a disclaimer, I've never followed Christianity blindly. I've never, not one day, well, of course as a child, but I've never followed this religion blindly. I discovered God for myself in my own way and in my own timing. But I remember one morning distinctly though, she woke me up, or I woke up and we started talking, because of course I go in the bed with my mommy as soon as I wake up. But she came to me and she was like, well, my Jesus told me to tell you. And this woman sat there and told me secrets that I've never even said out loud to myself. And it wasn't nothing too explicit or nothing too, you know. But she was like, my Jesus told me to tell you. And she just go in. X, Y, Z. And then she going back to the A, B, C. And she was listing them off. And I was baffled because, you know, sometimes you would talk to yourself or journal it or write it down or something. And you would converse with yourself. I've never even conversed with myself about these things. So it's no way she could possibly know it. And at that moment, something clicked in my mind. I was like, okay. Yeah, Jesus real. I get it. Like, I get it. And after that, I had experience on top of experience on top of experience where God was literally proving himself to me. And I was hooked like fish. That's my boy. After that, I learned to speak in tongues. I learned to I wouldn't say preach, but I would present the gospel before like younger women or, you know, just different things involved in the church. I used to have vivid dreams of heaven and of hell sometimes too. I would have my spiritual gifts were starting to show or like be, what is it called? Manifest. There you go. My spiritual gifts were starting to come to light. So I was like, okay, God, I like this. And what I noticed from other religions, it was all ritualistic. It was all acts of service and the magnitude of my own power. And I didn't want that. I didn't want repetitive acts of service that's exhausting and it's daunting. I want to be like, okay, relationship. And I found that in Christ. I have never followed this religion. I want y'all to understand that I have never followed this blindly. I've experienced God for myself on multiple occasions. So it's not even like, oh, that's just a coincidence, girl. Or that happened by chance. No, I have experienced the power of God. I've been filled with the Holy Spirit. Speaking in tongues, the fire of heaven falling on my tongue, listen, when me and mom used to live it together in Nassau, we used to have the house to ourselves. We used to wake up praying, wake up speaking in tongues. And I could tell you all the story of how I got the gift of tongues. That can be a story time. Let me write that down. Hold on. So that was all cool, right? So we want to get to the spicy part. So after that was like grade 11, grade 12, right? I was still going to parties. I was still enjoying my youth, of course within the bounds of respecting myself and respecting who God is. Like I drank, but I wasn't an avid drinker. I was not sexually active at this time. I respected God and who he was while still enjoying my youth. After this, I moved to the States. The week after high school graduation, I moved to Florida, Miami, like Broward, Miami area, right? And I was good for like a year. Like me and God was like this, right? So this gonna be a crazy story. If you know, you know. But if you don't know, don't even ask. Like, you don't have to do no investigation. It's fine. So I'll stay tuned for the rest of the story time because I pretty much could tell my whole life story. Trust me. Anyway, so I met this guy, right? He was a very young, respectable, Christian young man, right? And it's funny to me because for me right there. Anyway, I met this young man or whatever. And like, okay, if you know church culture, right? Church culture promotes the idea all the time too, that someone is your husband. Just because y'all in the church. Just because both y'all Christian, that's your husband. Oh, that's your wife. Like, I didn't even know this about right? So, hold on. So, I had this mentor. I didn't even know names. Even no names getting called today. But I had this mentor. And she was convinced that this young man was my husband. So we was talking for like a whole year. This man never asked me to even be his... Well, he did. I told him it don't even make no sense because he... Oh, Lord. It didn't make no sense because he lived abroad. So... you know what I mean? We both young. I was like 18 at the time. So this whole year, I sitting here waiting. I was like, this don't feel right. Like, it don't feel right. So I thought, now let me describe the mentor. This person speaking tongues, hair from heaven. I wake up from dreams. They tell me the whole dream. I mean, they was in tune with God. Like, so I believe what they said. So at this time, I'm thinking, okay, well, if that's who the person say it's supposed to be, then I was like, okay. And at this time, I wasn't even talking to nobody else. I mean, I was talking to people lightly. I wasn't going out with nobody like that. Like, I wasn't interested in nobody else. I was like, this him, so it don't make sense talking to nobody else. So a whole year doing this, right? And I just came to the realization. I was like, this don't make no sense. We don't even click like that. We click, but we don't click like that. You know what I mean? To say, just my life partner. So I came from Nassau 2019 summer. And it just started to, the wires just started turning. I was like, this don't make no sense. And at that time, I didn't have an understanding for myself. I went based off of what an older or senior Christian would say. So, yeah. Y'all can laugh at me, it's fine. I'm older and wiser now. I'm older and wiser now. So, came from Nassau. I was like, you know what, God? I blow up in God's face. Because honestly, me and him had a tight relationship to where I felt like I could have talked to him as a friend. Like, that's my boy. So if my best friend pissed me off, I'd be like, hey, what this is going on? Like, what's going on? Same thing with God. And y'all would be like, oh, you ain't supposed to question God and you ain't supposed to talk to him like that. He is a person and he's not afraid of our raw emotions. Let me just disclaim that. He is not afraid of you being angry at him. He is not afraid of you being frustrated with him. He is not afraid of you not understanding. He's not afraid of you being confused. Go to him. Don't go to the people in the world, you know, because they don't have the answers. Don't go to your friend. Don't go to... If you have a problem with God, go to God with that problem. And guess what? He can solve it too. Anyway. So I blow up in God's face. I say, God, you have me sitting here for all this time, believing this foolishness. And I was like, why would you let this person lie to me? Why would you let this person leave me on like this? And I say, God, if this is how you move it, I would nothing to do with you. The worst, the worst words I can possibly put together in a sentence and speak out loud. Because as soon as I said that, I ain't even gonna say everything went haywire. Because I don't want y'all to think, oh, as soon as you talk to God about how you feel, he got curse your life. No. Let me disclaim. This cat better not scratching. 6. They say get a cat. I get the cat. Look what the cat doing. Look. If y'all saw my face, you saw. Anyway, so I blow up in God's face or whatever, right? And I just started. No, at that time I was at my job for like a year, but it was a part-time job. I worked at the stadium, so it's whenever they had events, right? And if you know me, you know I met the Jamaican. And I ain't gonna talk bad with that man, because that's a good man. That's a man of God now. But when I met him, and it wasn't like I was forced into these situations, you know. I chose these things. I told God I didn't want his kingdom anymore. I didn't want his way and his path. And so I chose these things out of literal, like, blatant ignorance. Like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just like, you know what? Let me try the world. The world's so enticing. I've been in church all my life. I've been serving you. I've been speaking in tongues and ministering. Well, no, I wouldn't say all my life because I was atheist at one point. I was agnostic. I was serving other gods. I used to wear the crystals and meditate. Not knocking anyone that does that, but that doesn't work for me. If it works for you, darling, by all means. By all means. by all means, I support you 100%. But for me, not for me at all. Anyway, so I can give an overview of what happened when I met the Jamaican, and I'm not gonna say he's the cause. So if you're watching this, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming you. You did what you could for what you knew. But oh Lord. Anyway, so once I met the Jamaican, and I'm gonna be raw, blood raw, I told God beforehand, I was like, God, I'm gonna wait for marriage because that's the covenant you set aside. And I just wanted to, honor God with my body. I met the Jamaican. I said, he'll. I said, you'll have it. I know God was like, I know this gal ain't just get this boy. Anyway, that happened. And after that happened, and I feel like this is just based off of my own personal experience. Once you open a door like that, it's like everything else is be so easy to latch onto. Right? And I'll never say I regret giving it. He's a great person. Like, to this day, I can call him right now. Hey, my tire flat. Where you is? Or I deep south Miami. I need you to come now. I need help. It's my boy, babe. It's my boy. Big ups to you, Jamaican. But we were together for 2.5 years. So almost 3 years. I gotta get, that's gonna be a whole, bro, Jamaican, that's got so many different story times coming out of that. Y'all better subscribe. Like, y'all have to subscribe because I gotta tell y'all. Because if I don't tell y'all, my therapist can need a therapist. But anyway, so I gave it up, which was an honor to do with him. Great guy. After that, I started to drink, but that was later down on the line. I lost my self-respect. I lost my self-esteem. I lost the basis of what made me me. And I think that was a part of me finding myself. And I can make a disclaimer too. I feel like, and this is my own personal opinion, y'all could disagree left, right, center. That's fine. That's your opinion. I respect it. And I learned that from Raquel. So if you're watching this, I get that from you. That's your opinion and I respect it. Still use that to this day. But I do believe that love is a choice. Now hear me when I say this. Love is a choice. If you don't have the ability to choose, is it really love? If you gotta force someone to love you, is it really love? So I believe that God encourages us to try the world, to try those things, to go and experience it for yourself. Especially if you grew up in the church and that's all you knew. All you knew was God. All you knew was ministry. All you knew was church. Every Friday you in church. Like, if that's all you knew, I feel like in a way, weird way, hear me out, that he encouraged you to say, okay, go try it. And then you be like, you know what, I don't want nothing to do with that. Or you might be like, okay, this is something I choose to do. And he supports whatever you do. As people make God seem as like this big judger in the sky who could strike you down. No, he loves you too much to inflict on your personal choice. So if you choose to only eat cereal for the next 15 years, God says, I support that. He supports you making a choice. So I feel like he encouraged me to try the world. I was like, I literally tried the world. All the drinking, the smoking, the fornication, the homosexuality. I tried all of that. And then he was like, you done? And I have to give the end of the testimony because that was a wild ride. Y'all have to stay tuned with me. Subscribe. You have to stay tuned with me to get the full oomph of it. But at the end of all of this, he was like, you finished yet? Like, he would literally ask me while I'm on my way to go do something that's very sinful. Hey, you done yet? You don't have to do that, you know. Because I learned the voice of God at a very early age. I know what he sounds like. I know when he's speaking. I know. And I ain't crazy. I promise. And he's like, hey, you don't have to go there, you don't have to hang out with those friends. You don't have to smoke today. You don't have to drink to go sleep. You don't have to do that. You could come back home. And I'd be like, man, stop talking to me. Leave me alone. I would drink more to try to drown out God's voice. Or I would smoke to drown out his voice. And it'll only get louder. That's the part that used to blow me, bro. Like, I used to be bad high. I mean, I read this bad high. I don't even know what bad high means. But bird high. Let me say bird high. And he'd be like, Toronto, you don't have to do this, Like, the peace you looking for, that blunt ain't gonna give it to you. It ain't gonna ever give it to you. The fact that you about to go have sex with him, it ain't gonna ever give you peace. It's not gonna restore your self-esteem. It's not gonna give you fulfillment. That can only be found in me. And then I wouldn't hear from him until the next day or the next couple days. He'd be like, you don't have to do that, You don't have to feel like that. Just come back home. I'm right here. I love you too much to let you do this to yourself. And I'd be like, God, leave me alone. But you don't want to deal with me, right? Clearly, I don't know what left is. I don't know left from right now. Just leave me alone. I could figure it out and then I could come home. Then next day off, the same day, 2 hours later, baby girl, I miss you. I miss when we used to talk. I miss when you used to just come to me with your problems and you used to just give it to me and then they would just be okay. You would feel a sense of peace. That blunt you about to roll up, you ain't gonna find it there. He used to tell me, you going by this one so you cannot feel lonely. You could go by them and you still could feel lonely. And I used to be like, oh Lord, God, leave me alone. Until this one day, and I can give the whole full story. Listen, y'all gotta subscribe because I'm about to give my whole life story on this channel. He used to tell me, man, he used to tell me he didn't leave me in the dark even when I was in the world, even when I was on my way to go smoke, on my way to go have sex, on my way to go drink, on my way to do these things. I mean, putting on the lashes and putting on the, you don't have to do that, I'd be like, oh, just leave me alone. Then I'd have this feeling like, what? The depression. And I'm not gonna say that Christians don't have depression, I'm not gonna say that. It's just different. And that's by my own personal experience. Depression when you don't have God, and depression when you got God, two totally different realms, bro. Because I wouldn't say I'm depressed now, but I go into my little mental health thing. But the difference is I have a rock that I stand on. I have a confidant. I have a king. I have a friend that I could call on right now and say, hey, I need you. And he is present. The rock way. The firm foundation. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords is my friend. And y'all can understand the relationship that I have with God is totally different from religious people. If you follow me on any social media, you could see that. If you're my friend, especially if you have me on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is like my close friends for my social medias. Like, I just post anything on there. Like, anything. My Instagram would never see what's on my WhatsApp. But you would understand that my relationship, and it's all about, I want y'all to understand, Lord, my prayer to you, Father, is that they understand relationship from my relationship with you instead of ritualistic forms of Christianity. Because I do not subscribe to a lot of things that Christians or religious people subscribe to. I don't do that. As simple as wearing a shirt with no sleeves. Someone would be like, oh, you ain't no Christian because your skirt into your ankle and your shirt ain't got no sleeves. You going to hell. If my father ain't tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, cover up your shoulder, I straight. And that's all that matters, right? What he thinks. Not what y'all pull out the Bible and think about and decide that's gospel. But we ain't gonna get into that. Or we could get into that. That's a YouTube video idea. Unpopular opinions. Hold on, let me write. But make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, drop it down below. And also tell me, what age did you either become a Christian, leave Christianity, or if you're never Christian, whatever religion that you subscribe to, what age should you subscribe to it? Let me know in the comments below. It was a pleasure speaking to y'all, and I didn't tell y'all who I am. By the way, my name is Jerona. As you can see in the title, my name is Jerona. You can pronounce it Jerona, Jerona, Jerona. You can call me Hannah. You can call me Big Daddy Rones, whatever you want. Like, don't call me whatever you want to call me, because I just fight in the name of Jesus. But other than that, yeah, not much for me. At least you can learn me as we go along. But it was a pleasure speaking with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share. That was not English. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your favorite cousin. And stay tuned, because I'm dropping videos every week. See y'all later. Bye.